So the questions that I have, and I want to start off with by first of all introducing you guys. This is Priscilla Hawthorne with the Maximum Life, who's been working on longevity, stylist as she is for many years, and she can speak a little bit more to who she is. My friend Dana Goldberg, 25 years in fashion styling, retailing, all the above, and big into wellness as well. Miss Angela Hunt, celebrity stylist, Boyz II Men, LL Cool J, the list goes on and on and on. And she's also a Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter with a song that we all know, Empire State of Mind, New York. And then we have the CEO of Healthy Longevity Clinic, Dr. Uberto Mondolfi. As you guys know, we're opening up our longevity clinic right here, right there. And I do have, if you guys want more information on programming and longevity, we have someone walking around who will take your information. But for now, let's get this panel started so that we can drink some delicious organic wine. Priscilla, I saw you speak, and I immediately knew I wanted to get on the panel. Because one of the things that you talk about, spoke about, and Dr. Roberto, my partner, Healthy Longevity Clinic, talks about, is the tie-in of longevity being so customized, so personal. It's not one size fits all. How do you relate that to fashion, right? And then, so there's definitely a correlation there. Would you agree?
Yes, 100%. Thank you for having us here today. My both preferred topics, fashion and longevity. I couldn't even believe we were going to combine two things to talk about it. All the talks we had today talked about personalization and how you cannot do over the counter. I don't want over the counter. I don't think anybody else wants over the counter anymore. I think personalization is the ultimate thing that we all look for, something that's tailor-made for us. I also truly believe that longevity is the ultimate luxury that you look for today. There's no pair of clothes that's gonna look good for you if you don't feel good. If you're sick and bad, you can have the most beautiful clothes on you. That's not gonna take it. You won't be able to enjoy it. So if you wanna spend some money on something and you don't have enough money to buy a bag and the blood work, I will go with the blood work because you're gonna hit your strain to go get that beautiful bag that you're looking for. Thank you, Rich.
That's a great answer. It really is, and it's so true. And again, I just love that you speak about that. It's not one size fits all, particularly on longevity. And then, of course, there are the women's division who are very underrepresented in that whole world where you have literally men selling these supplements and things of that nature. that are not made for women, essentially. So that's a whole other category we can always talk about later on. The next question is to Miss Dana. Is longevity becoming a new luxury?
It is absolutely. In the fashion world, fashion and beauty is being combined on a daily basis now. If you look into all of the fashion brands right now, they're actually looking to collaborate with more beauty and health brands in terms of even at the activation level, they are not just popping up as a fashion brand anymore. They want to offer something more and something more meaningful. And I think the way that they are combining like we said, the beauty and whether it's exercise or all of the wonderful treatments that people are doing to themselves, it's all tied into feeling good and looking good. And those two components are really hand in hand and what everybody wants to feel at the moment now. And they want to feel good about what they're doing and what they're wearing. It's very congruent.
Very good point. I could just speak. We've been approached by some major houses, major brands that are coming to speak to us about creating a longevity experience for their top clients. And even perhaps a longevity line. We'll talk about that another time. But it's not so much that longevity is the new luxury, it is that longevity living is a luxury for us, but it's attainable. Miss Angela, I'm not going to ask you to sing,
Thank you.
but I can see why you are a celebrity stylist, because it is one I'll forget. By the way, and I'm loving the kicks. The kicks.
Longevity need my feet, so I don't wear heels that much anymore.
So my question to you is, the fashion industry has traditionally celebrated youth. How do you see the definition of beauty evolving as people live longer, healthier lives?
This may sound really funny, but it's definitely evolved in so many ways in terms of like sustainability, our clothes, like where they come from. I just watched this whole documentary on Zara. I don't know if anybody's seen it, right? So people want to be really informed about where their clothes are coming from, especially like in, I've been on two sides of the business. So I was a stylist for 16 years. Literally changed hip hop from one thing to another. And now that I've been in the music business now for 32 years. Crazy. But we went from being probably the worst behaved people to now some of the most healthiest people. When you go into the studio, people, they want to look and feel well. I can't have a long career if I am not healthy. And a lot of people don't know, as a musician, we don't really have medical care. So yeah, you're gonna buy that bag or you're gonna get that book. And so I think, with fashion and when watching just how our whole business has evolved into the brands and the type of brands we want to use and the type of brands we want to wear and the way we want to feel and look, like today, I wanted to wear something that reflected who I am and how hot I am in the age that I am in now. So I definitely need to wear something breezy. So it was like, it looks so flowy. I'm like, well, I'm really hot. So,
Yeah, we can talk about that with Dr. Bertha afterwards.
that
We get a lot of that.
I'm sure you do. And that, that is evolving. We're women of that right now, and that is where we are right now. And clothes are reflecting that because pajamas, they know that we're asking it, hey, what about us? So yeah.
Excellent. Thank you for that.
Hey, Rich, I have one comment.
Please, yes.
Which is super important. You talked about we all want to know where our clothes come from, and we ask a lot of questions, and yet we do peptides and supplements from where. So we need to talk about that today.
Yes.
Because we want to know where so many things come from, and when it comes to packing something in our bellies, we go in and take anything that we find. Oh, my gym bro gave to me. My dealer gave to me.
Yeah.
My friend from somewhere is using, so I'm gonna start using. I really want everybody to care about that as much as we care for our clothes, right?
It's such a good point. I ran into somebody that I knew at an elevator in the Flamingo in South Beach. If you know the Flamingo, that's all I need to say. It's some interesting, use the word interesting characters there. And I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He goes, I'm gonna go meet somebody in the parking lot. I'm selling them peptides. I looked at him, in your pocket? Because yeah, I'm like, wow, okay. So yes, really good point. You gotta be careful out there. Again, and Dr. Beth, I know we'll talk about this. Your biomarkers, it's gotta be science and data backed. It has to be. And it's your blueprint. It belongs specifically to you, and that's the programs that should be outlined to you. We all agree on that. My dear friend, my bestie, Miss Cheryl Zuckerman, she's the Chief Revenue Officer of Lavior. And I know that you work with a lot of topical creams that are healing and things like that. So my question to you is, what daily habits have had the biggest impact on how you look, feel, and perform? You look marvelous, by the way.
Yes, so I think to that point, everyone right now is getting. So I think to that point, I also run the chapter for BNCR, and everyone's trying to invest right now in longevity and trying to make sure that if you're feeling your best, you're going to look your best. And so it's really important, especially for topical creams. I know even with my children, they'll put steroids or give me a steroid for their face, Neosporin. And again, it's what's in that product is really important. It's not one size fits all. You can't just be looking at the best fad or situation that's going on and think that that's okay because someone on TikTok is great. really should be educated consumers, just like they are with luxury brands, as well as our health. And so found a company that was all natural, and so decided to become their chief revenue officer. And here now with a bunch of investors and trying to connect the pieces and help out everyone live longer and healthier.
If anyone knows how to connect, I mean, she and I met not too long ago, and we immediately said, we're best friends.
You are best.
Within 10 seconds. But, you know, kindred souls, right? We connect and we find each other. Beautiful. So, this man right here, Dr. Uberto Mondolfi, who's been practicing longevity, and again, he's our CEO for the Longevity Lounge that's opening up soon here. So, let's see. So anyway, so what I find fascinating about you is that your degree is in psychotherapy, psychology, and engineering, which you would think are two completely different things, but not necessarily as you describe it. But what I really find fascinating is that because of that background, you approach longevity from more of a psychological, meets wellness, meets details, meets that. Can you explain how did you get involved? How did you go from a psychologist to an engineer to, and by the way, I'm glad to have you as my partner in longevity as well, please.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. I've been hearing, I was sitting over there listening to the panelists. It's like, oh my God, you know, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that, especially from not only the psychological perspective, but the connection, the humans, all, you know, some interesting topics, colors, fashion, all that. And I got into this field more than 2 decades ago out of curiosity. I'm just very curious. That's my nature. My engineering background, it's more developed my brain into understanding that I like solving puzzles. That's one thing I love to do. Not actually puzzles, my wife knows that. I hate puzzles, the small pieces, I can't do that, right? But when it comes to finding solutions, I'm very focused on that. And then the psychology part became very natural, and I started using that into what I do today. One of the things I like about I like about today's panel is fashion and innovation, and how does that ties into what we're doing today, which is longevity, right? Everybody here has heard the phrase, if you look good, you feel good, right? Okay. There's a scientific background on that. There's a scientific reason for that, right? How many of you, when you go out, you look at the closet, you put something, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel good. It's a feeling, right? And you look at the mirrors, like, it doesn't matter what the magazine says, it doesn't matter what the photograph says, it doesn't matter what the husband or the wife or the spouse says. Oh my God, you look amazing. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with an internal dialogue that we have. That when we, not the other world, not the outside world, when we look good, we feel good, right? Because it's a matter of presence. There's a physiological that I can nerd on it, but it's a matter of presence. It's a matter of honoring who we are. And today, one of the underlying topics that we're talking about is authenticity and spontaneity. We can see the magazines and we might be able to reflect and go outside, but that's not us. And if we put that on, you're not going to be yourself. And eventually that's going to translate in inflammation, cortisol, and I can nerd on that all you want. But it has to do with when you see, it's like, wow. And it's just a feeling. You don't have to understand it, but it has a physiological reaction in your body that translates into what really longevity is. For us, longevity is not about living longer, because I might be able to live 100 years, but if I'm miserable, sick, and bedridden, why I'm gonna be living 100 years? However, if I'm gonna live or extend my health span for more years, I'm gonna be healthier. Right now, I'm turning 58 on August. It's been the best last 20 years of my life because of what I'm doing. I hope I can continue doing this, but I'm sure that the most I invest on this, the better I'm gonna be feeling, right? And that's translating into my longevity or my health span journey. So fashion has a very direct correlation into this. The pose that when we look good, we stand up different. We walk different. We have this security. We have this aplomo. I don't know the words in English specifically. Aplomb. That's translated from within. You can go outside and say, "Oh my God, you look amazing," and internally it's like, "Yeah, thank you, but I feel like shit." Why? Right? So that's what I like about the panel today. I'm sorry I'm extending a little bit outside of the questions that Rich, but this is something I really want to talk about. Fashion needs longevity because we feel good. And it's not, I love what, I don't remember your name, I'm sorry, about the colors.
It's Megan.
Megan, thank you. We all have our own identity. And that translates not only into the biomarkers and who we are and all that and genetics, it translates into what we portray to the world. Find out what your colors are. That should be amazing. I remember, I'm gonna end up with this. For me, it was very easy, a very long time in my life, dressed in black. Very easy. Then I met this wonderful doctor who transformed my life, and he said, "Oh, you were hiding from the world." I was like, "What?" No, it was practical. No, just think about it. But again, this is a longer conversation about that. But yes, there's a correlation between fashion and longevity because scientifically, and we can nerd on this, when we look good, we feel good. We look good, not the world. So keep that in mind. Sorry.
You made a really good point. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Powerful. Now you know why he's the CEO. Love it, man. By the way, how much black do you ever see me wearing? I'm the opposite. My closet looks like Skittles. But you make a good point also about, in longevity, we cannot predict how long you're going to live. We talk about it all the time, right? That's up to God. Nostradamus maybe can predict that. We can't. But what we know, what we can do, is if you follow certain longevity protocols, just like we're doing right now, bonding, right, community, you'll live healthier, happier, longer lives. So it's about the quality of your years. Is that correct? That'd be a correct statement? Okay, great. So, many of you are probably thirsty, so I'm going to ask one more question, and it's for the entire panel. Answer it as you should. And it's a great question. It's actually a question Priscilla wrote down for me. Priscilla, so we'll start with you, the author of the question. If you could give your 30-year-old self one piece of advice about health, beauty, and longevity, what would it be? And by the way, I'm presuming that everyone is a little bit over 30 here. Okay? So, again, the question is, if you could give your 30-year-old self one piece of advice about health, beauty, and longevity, what would it be?
There's so many. It's hard to get just one. First of all, 50s are the new 20s.
Yay.
Amen to hormones. I feel at the best I ever been in my life, so I would love to tell myself that. I would love to not have drunk so much as I did when I was younger because it's destroying a big part of my brain that I miss today. Drinking is not good for us. And I would really, really like to learn more about my health before I got to my 40s when I had autoimmune disease. That's one of the reasons I got into the longevity field and decided to actually open a clinic to be able to empower people to not be patients anymore. So you're not told what to do, you are in charge of your health. So I wish I had studied my own health much more and understood my body, my blood, my genetics, my epigenetics, and all the things that I could do, which I do today, and I play with a lot of different toys, and I do the same with my family. My husband also looks very hot. And you see, he's right there. But I wish I had started sooner. So if I had a piece of advice to myself and to many other people in their 30s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, I have a lot of members, they're 80s, and they look great and they have amazing lives. So there's no limits today, as long as we take care of ourselves and are in charge of our health.
Dana,
So
thank you.
much to what Umberto talked about. I mean, who knew you knew so much about fashion and feelings and psychology? But I believe that fashion is directly related to psychology. I always have, even as a young child. What I would tell myself now, though, is less is more. Or tell her, less is more. I feel like we always thought that the more we had, the more attractive we were, the more attractive we would be to others. And as a woman in her 50s now, my closet is literally a quarter of the size that it was. I feel like I've developed a uniform. I go to, maybe I'm teaching all of my styling clients the same thing. You go to 25 hangers in your closet every month anyway. The excess and all of the other things that we also spoke about, all of you spoke about on earlier panels, and I won't go into all of it now, on how the life cycle of fashion and your wardrobe is really important. Wear better quality, wear less. Take the time, spend the time outside, connecting, bonding, getting to that event instead of inside your closet.
Dana, is there a... So, okay, all right. Clearly I gotta get rid of stuff, because that's what everyone's telling me. But is there a time to it? If I don't wear it for a year, is it time for it to let it go? How does that work?
As we all have said before today as well, that it's very emotional, your wardrobe, your clothing, those things you chose for a reason when you shopped for them, right? My rule normally when I'm doing a closet edit is, this needs to go. But I love that. I had it. I remember XYZ, take a picture of it. Remember it in an Instagram moment at this point, right? Wear it again, get rid of it. What does it serve you is the first question. How long has it been since you've worn it? Normally, if the person is that dedicated to keeping it in their closet, I let them go another 6 months. If they haven't worn it 6 months, more times than often, I get the call, you were right, I already got rid of it. I already repurposed it, recycled it. So again, talking about the longevity of your clothing, it might be something where I'll restyle it. Have you ever thought to wear it this way if you love it so much? And that's when, to answer your question, it's, if you get to that point where you still haven't worn it in about 6 months, it goes on to the next person and live in someone else's closet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Can you help me take out those bags and after this? Miss Angela, do you the question? What would you tell your daddy?
30-year-old Angie just came into a lot of money. So if I could go back, I would have said, brands do not make me. They cannot tell the story of who I am. That girl who would walk in the room and think, I look a certain way, I'm definitely gonna sing and write the biggest song in the room. Definitely not true. And I also would have paid attention to my mother, because my mother raised us making all of our products. She made our suntan lotion, she made our hair products, she made our face products. And you know, when I turned 20, I remember her making neck cream, and she goes, you gotta start putting it on now. But this is, mommy made this, you know? And I used to just laugh at her and be like, are you serious? And, you know, remember her giving us coconut oil to balance our thyroids and all of the things. I wish I paid attention to that, because now I have children, and there's so many things I remember and don't remember. Luckily, she's still here, but she's 80 and she looks like she's 50 something, like she just started getting wrinkles. And if I could go back, I would have just paid attention to everything that she was making and all the elixirs. And I also would have probably wish I knew more about where I was going to be now. But anybody who's going to their 50s, this is the sexy girl era. So
I see it.
Go back and
Yeah.
This is when you begin your life. This is when it gets saucy. This is when you're confident. You know who you are. And exactly. I will go back and tell her, like, the best is coming. You just no need to fear, like, what is coming. So I definitely would be no fear of the unknown.
That is, I love that message. Thank you. Right? Fear is an illusion, guys. It's just something made up in our mind. I could tell, right, it's a lie. Fear's a lie. You know, I could tell you grew up in a Caribbean home.
Absolutely.
Trinidadian, right? Yeah. Absolutely. If you have your mama making everything, that's Caribbean.
She made
that's what we do.
Everything.
My mom sat up against the wall and went, Mom. And we look at her like she's
They do. It is definitely not right. But we're going back to that. Cheryl, that question is for you. Sorry. She's here.
I think I go back to the authenticity and the audacious comments, and it's super important to really trust your instincts and to also advocate for yourself and be bold. Be yourself. No other lane is the same, and really have your own authenticity. Working for Johnson & Johnson for 13 years, I believe in science, but I also believe that we have to have a quality of life. And there's a mixture between being healthy and personalization and really understanding what good looks like. And don't let someone tell you otherwise, and get educated. You can't just go ahead and trust just the person that's in the parking lot. Sorry.
No, definitely don't trust that person.
No.
Wow. Dr. Berto, your 30-year-old self.
I was thinking about that question, and I probably would tell my 30-year-old self many things, right? Be more courageous. You're okay. It's okay who you are. You're not broken. You know, so many things, right? At the same time, I wouldn't change who I am today because of that. I am who I am today because of the things, all the insecurities, all the traumas, all the things that happen. If there's something I can tell him, don't get into that relationship, that would be one. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know, I think we talked about fear. I was super afraid when I was younger. I was afraid of everything. I didn't know who I was, and I wanted to be anybody else but me, right? So I think that's one thing that I would tell myself is be courageous. You know, trust your gut, not your feelings. Feelings can be liars sometimes, but trust your gut, and that will lead you to who I am today, and understanding that becoming never ends. Becoming is a verb. That's why, you know, one thing that, again, nerding out, I love philosophy. Clothes have cycles because we become every single day a different person. We grow. So we grow what we bought a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, because we're becoming. If we are stuck in a style, from a psychotherapist perspective, I will start asking if you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in your purpose, if you're stuck in so many things. So again, I'm a nerd on many hours on this, right? So to answer your question, be more courageous, and authenticity has a price both ways. You're gonna lose a lot when you're authentic and you're spontaneous, but you're gonna gain more than you can ever imagine, and you're gonna gain yourself. So that's something I will tell my younger self.
That's beautiful. Any questions? Thank you. So we ran a little bit over time, but everyone's here in this panel to answer your questions and to discuss any topics you want during our wine time. But a big round of applause to Miss Angela Hunt, Celebrity Stars. Well, I didn't ask you to sing, and I just questioned, just about for my own adult, what inspired you to write Empire State of Mind? I'm not from New York, but every time I hear that song, I stop. I just gotta listen to it.
We got any New Yorkers in the house?
Yeah. New York.
I honestly, really quickly, I wrote that song because I'm a born-bred New Yorker, and you do not come to New York to fail. You come to win. You will see an 80-year-old person going, one day, I'm gonna make it. You know, that's why we say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right? And the resilience of New Yorkers, we're just so resilient. And that's what I just kept thinking. I wrote it at a time where I was actually in London. I wasn't in New York City, which a lot of people were like, really? I'm like, no, but I wanted to go home. I was done. I was done with Europe. I loved it. It was great. I had my tenure there, but it was time for me to go back to New York. And I was just walking down the street, and I was like, I'm gonna write a song about New York today, because I feel like that's who made me who I am. You know, like you pound that pavement until you make it, and you don't stop. So, you know, originally, that's what the song was meant for. And then when Jay-Z heard it, he was like, I know what you're talking about. I was like, you sure? I was like, because this is my love letter and it could stay in my laptop. I was very happy with that. But I'm glad it happened the way that it did, because originally I wrote this song for Sting.
Oh, wow.
I don't really think it mattered who sang it. It would have resonated. And that's the same thing I think that's happening now with health. It's resonating with people. I know that's like a pivot, but I'm saying that just because me and my personal health and my personal struggles as a musician, what I've gone through, the stress of it, the years of stress of music industry, what it does to you, what it does to your body, how it affects you. And now, you know, I just don't give a fuck.
Good. You're in the right room for that. Because we don't give a what?
You don't care.
By the way, Sting already has English. He already has English with New York.
You're absolutely
It wouldn't have
correct.
sounded right without Jesus.
You're absolutely correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey guys, round of applause. Miss Angela Hunt, Miss Dana Goldberg, WADC, Miss Priscilla Hawthorne from the Maximum Life, and she's living it. And by the way, you and your husband together don't make 30. I mean, by looks wise, it's crazy. I mean, my bestie, Ms. Jill Zuckerman, thank you for joining us. And of course, our CEO, Dr. Uberto Mondolfi, my true brother. If you guys want more information on future programming, longevity, Coco, stand up. Coco right there. Coco.